wrong button. Okay, so now we're going to go the other direction, right? So we just wrote it from trig form to standard form. Now we're going to go the other direction. And I'm just going to remind you that my little abbreviation here, I'm going to write it as R cis theta. And I'll go back and forth the first few times to be sure that you're with me. So this one is special angles. So these are going to be unit circle values. So we are going to use exact answers. Notice it says theta in radians between 0 and 2 pi. So we're going to think about this z here and think about what quadrant we're in. So if we are negative positive, we must be in quadrant 2, right? So then we're going to think about what our theta would be. When we do the regular numbers, not the special angles, we'll need to be thinking about theta hat, right? But since these are special angles, they'll be on the unit circle, we can think about it in terms of exact and where we are. So let's see, we would be looking at the tangent of theta being 4 root 3 over 4. And we could use the negative here, but we already identified quadrant 2, right? So we can kind of ignore that. And so if the tangent of theta is root 3, that means that my ordered pair must be root 3 over 2 y 1/2 x, right? That's how we're going to get the tangent of root 3. And this is true for my family of over 3s. And my over 3 in quadrant 2 is 2 pi over 3, right? So I know that theta is 2 pi over 3. Next, we want to find r. And we know that r squared is a squared plus b squared, right? So r squared is 16 plus, let's see, we're going to have 16 times 3, 48. So r is the square root of what, 54? 64, right? Which is 8. So I'll write it out the whole way this time. We would say that z is r, which is 8, times the cosine of 2 pi over 3, plus I sine 2 pi over 3. And again, if you wanted on your paper or whatever to abbreviate that as 8 cis 2 pi over 3, that would be fine. So we're using trig to find our angle and then using the Pythagorean theorem to find our r. Looking at the next one, I have positive negative, so that must mean that we are in quadrant 4, right? And we know that the tangent of theta is 2 over 2. Again, I'm not using the negative. I could, right? But since we're using the unit circle and I've already identified that we're in quadrant 4, I feel okay about it. 2 over 2 is 1. And my family of angles whose tangent is 1 is my over 4s, right? And my over 4 in quadrant 4 is 7 pi over 4. And then to find my r squared is a squared plus b squared, right? 4 plus 4. So that means r is the square root of 8. Since there's nothing specific in the instructions about how to write that, if they want it reduced, I'm going to assume that we would be okay leaving that as the square root of 8 instead of making it 2 root 2. And they don't say anything about rounding or anything. So I'm going to write that z is the square root of 8 cis 7 pi over 4. And again, when you put that in ALEKS, you have to put the whole thing, root 8 parenthesis cosine 7 pi over 4 plus I sine 7 pi over 4. Everybody cool? All right. Here it looks like we're in the first quadrant. That's always fun, right? Positive, positive. And we know that the tangent of theta is 3 over 3 root 3, which is 1 over root 3, right? And if my tangent is 1 over root 3, that means my x must be root 3 over 2, and my y must be 1/2. And that's true for my family of over 6s. And my over 6 in quadrant 1 is pi over 6, right? And then to look at r squared is, let's see, 3 root 3 squared. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, plus 9, which is 36. So r is 6. So z is 6 cis pi over 6. Last one here in quadrant 3, right? Because it's negative, negative. And tangent theta is b over a, right? So 2 over 2 root 3. Again, I see the negatives, but I'm ignoring them because we're using unit circle, and I've already identified that I'm in quadrant 3. So that's going to give me the 1 over root 3, just like the last one, which means it's an over 6, right? Just like that last one. And my over 6 in quadrant 3 is 7 pi over 6, right? 6 pi over 6 is pi. And then to find r squared is, let's see, 2 squared is 4 times 3 is 12 plus 4. So r is 4, right? Square root of 16. And z is 4 cis 7 pi over 6.